morning, boys and girls. My name is Teacher Terry, and today I will be reading you Clifford's First Day of School, written and illustrated by Norman Bridwell. This is the front page of the book, and who do you see here? I see Clifford, and this is Clifford's little girl. She's also called his owner. Her name is Emily Elizabeth. And in the background here you see the school where Emily attends. This is the back of the book. And when you look at the back of the book, you can see other books that also have Clifford. This is Clifford the Big Red Dog, Clifford the Emergency Dog, Clifford's Birthday Party, and the one that I will be reading today, Clifford's First School Day. So here we go to the first page. I'm Emily Elizabeth. Every day I ride to school on my dog Clifford. Clifford is too big to go inside. Why do you think Clifford is too big to go inside? Have you ever seen a dog this big? I wonder what he eats that he's so big. And Emily, she rides on Clifford. How do you think she gets up on top of him? Oh, Clifford hasn't been inside a school since he was a tiny puppy. Do you see the difference? This is when he was first born. And see how little he is? I wonder how we could measure the difference from the time he was a puppy to the previous page when he's a big red dog. Oh, I think we could use a measuring tape. Have any of you used a measuring tape before? I took him one day for show and tell. Emily Elizabeth is walking Clifford in the stores. Show and tell. I remember when I was little and we had show and tell. That's when you take something to school and you share with your friends. Is there anything you would like to share? Maybe with your brother, your sister, a family member, or on a meeting like this. We can share what we have, and we can learn about each other. Today we're going to learn about Clifford's first day at school. All the kids wanted to pet my very tiny puppy. Miss Pearson liked him too, but she said it was time to begin our day. Can we see the children petting Clifford? And here, Emily is standing back as she gives her friends the opportunity to pet Clifford. One by one. Do you have a dog that you pet? Or a turtle? A cat? I have 2 dogs at home. And I love to pet my dogs. Now, first she put out the finger paint. I love finger painting. I wonder what Clifford is going to do. I see yellow paint in this jar. I see red paint, and I see green paint. Have any of you finger painted before? Have you used your fingers to dip into paint and then onto paper? I think that's something that would be interesting. I wonder what they're going to paint. Clifford got right up on the table. He sniffed the yellow paint. How do you think it smells? Have you smelled paint before? He's smelling the yellow paint. I see the green paint down here and the blue paint off to the side. Do you think if Clifford were to smell each one of the paints, they would smell different? Or would they smell the same? Oh my, The jar tipped over. What is happening in this picture? I wonder how Emily Elizabeth or her teacher, Mrs. Pearson, will get the paint off of Clifford. If we look closely, we can see Clifford's paw prints coming out on the picture that this little boy from the previous page painted. It's a continuation. Let's see what happens next. Clifford found out that paint is very slippery. Here he goes, he's walking. He slips and he slides. Have any of you stepped in water or paint? Or sometimes when we're running too fast, we may slip on the ground. I know I've slipped before. I wonder how he's going to get up. And on the next page we see Miss Pearson. She picked him up. Miss Pearson and Clifford said Clifford was a good artist. He made a beautiful yellow picture. I think we are all good artists. We can reference artists when we paint. Maybe when we look at this picture, we see a Rembrandt in the making, or a Picasso. And Clifford, well, it's up to you. What do you see? Here we go on. Clifford still has paint on him. What do you think Mrs. Pearson is going to do? You see the water too? I wonder. Oh, I'm thinking like you. Maybe he's going to get a bath. Let's find out. We couldn't leave Clifford all covered with paint. Miss Pearson thought that some water play might be a good way to get him clean. So, you suppose he's going to get in here? I think so. That is one way to get clean. How many of you take baths to get clean? Or shower? And here he is. What do you think he's going to do here? Is he getting straight into the water? I see a boat with a mast shaped like a triangle. When I see a triangle, I count the sides. I have 1, 2, 3 to make the triangle. Let's find out what's going to happen. Tim had made a boat out of a milk carton. Clifford was a perfect captain for the boat. Emily. What do you think is happening with Emily here? I'm wondering if she's surprised. So, let's find out what happens. Captain Clifford climbed the mast to look around. What do you think is going to happen here? Is Clifford bigger than the mast? I'm wondering if this boat can hold Clifford's weight. Let's find out. Here we see what happened with Clifford. He toppled over. And that's how we got the paint off. Toppled over. And how did he get clean? You're right. It's the water. It washed him off. Let's find out what happens. Miss Pearson dried him off. She said we were going to make cookies next. And Clifford could watch. That would keep him out of trouble. you think Clifford is feeling here? I see a smile. Do you get help with being dried off when you are wet? I think so. While Miss Pearson rolled out the cookie dough, Clifford got curious about the bag of flour. Curious, that's a big word. What do you think that means? We can read the page again and then decipher what it means. While Miss Pearson rolled out the cookie dough, Clifford got curious about the bag of flour. Well, I think we can have clues about what curious means. As he's climbing, could he be sniffing? Has the bag been pulled down enough for him to feel it on his paws? So I think curious means something to discover. He's going to find out something new. Let's find out. Oops! What was Clifford thinking? And Miss Pearson, what do you suppose she's thinking right now? And we see Clifford, the flowers all over him. It's going around. Let's go to the next page. Clifford made another mess. Do you make messes like Clifford? I wonder. I know I make messes. And then it's time to clean them up. Emily Elizabeth, what do you think her expression means? I think you're right. She's surprised. She's like, Clifford. So I think it's time for Clifford to move on. Miss Pearson said it might be a good idea for Clifford to play outside. We all went out to the playground. Have any of you been on a playground? Here, I see children alternating their feet as they walk up the steps. And then they sit down on the bottom and slide down. Kind of like Clifford did when he was slippery and he slid. And here we have two children on a teeter-totter. Have you ever been on a teeter-totter? I see as the little girl goes up, the little boy goes down. When I was a little girl, I went on a teeter-totter and it was so much fun. I think that would be a very good experience for all of you. And here we have a jungle gym. This little boy is in the tunnel. We have a little girl on the swing going back and forth, back and forth. And up top, we have a little boy about to cross the bars. Have you seen one of these or been on one? I think if you went to the park, you could find one. And over here, we have, I thought Clifford would enjoy the slide. So here, Emily Elizabeth, again, she alternated her feet. She's at the top, waiting for her turn as the little girl slides down. What do you think is going to happen with Emily Elizabeth and Clifford? He wiggled out of my hands. This line comes from Emily. Do you see her expression? Could it be? She's saying, oh no, what do I do? Clifford's going. You see, his body is out of control. And we go over here and he's going again. It looks like he's going through the air and went down the slide by himself. Where do you think Clifford is going? He landed in the sandbox. Oh, here we go. Now, is this Clifford's sandbox or someone else's? What happens here? What is going to happen to the sandcastle? Oh, I see at the top. Can you see? It looks like it's going to topple over. To topple is to fall down. So it's toppling. What do you think Clifford's going to do about that? And Emily and the little boy who originally built the sandcastle. Let's find out. We helped the kids rebuild the sandcastle. So here we have Emily Elizabeth, after filling the bucket with sand, turning over and releasing the sand to build up the sandcastle. And I see Clifford patting the sandcastle. Have any of you ever built a sandcastle? Yes? Yes, we can build sandcastles at the beach or a park. Or if you're at home, you can get sand. And what would you need? Do you need anything with your sand? I think so, possibly water, so it packs in nice and tight. We made Clifford the king of the castle. He loved that. So here we have Clifford on top. And now up here, he's dominating the castle. And although he's still small here, he's looking big. Next, then it was lunchtime. What do you suppose they're eating in their sandwich? By the looks of it, I think it can be bologna or maybe peanut butter and jelly. And over to the right, we have squares. And to me, they look like Jell-O. What do they look like to you? What possible ingredients could they have used to make this? As we see, the children and Clifford seem to be eager to come and eat lunch. Let's find out. I shared my sandwich and dessert with Clifford. Oh, she puts it on. Look at Emily's putting it down on the floor. Do you think Clifford is going to like a sandwich and dessert? What do you feed your puppies or dogs? Let's see. He gobbled up the sandwich. Gobbled? That's a new word for me. What do you suppose it means? I think you're right. It means to eat fast. But he didn't know how to eat the dessert. What's happening? It's flying out of his hands here, and it's going in this direction. Why do you suppose that's happening? Poor Clifford chased the wiggling cubes all over the floor. The other kids thought that was funny. So it's wiggly. And how do we know something is wiggly? Like Clifford, it moved. It moved in its paws, and so it was wiggly and popped out. Miss Pearson said it was time for Clifford to go home and have a real lunch. She told me to bring him back to school when he was a little bigger. So, Miss Pearson, bye, Clifford. Do you think he'll come back to school anytime soon? Let's find out. She should see him now. Now he's big, Clifford. What do you think? Emily fed Clifford to get this big. And will he fit through another school door? I believe that's for another time. In the meantime, you can think of ways he can get into a school. That is the end of our story for today. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to reading another book with all of you. I'm going to sign off now. Bye.